If you're wondering why I look so freaky, this is why you can't do a full-blown spooky eye with nothing on your complexion, in case you were wondering. You look like a weirdo. Hey there, dreamers. It's me, Jacqueline. Welcome back to Dreams of Music and Makeup, or welcome here if it's your first time. Thanks for being here. I have already done an eye tutorial for you guys on this look, so if that is up before this, I will link it for you down below. If not, make sure you're subscribed, and if you want to be notified of my new postings, you gotta click that bell too. I don't have permission to blow up your phone without it, so help a girl out, you wanna be informed, I want that for you. Click that bell. Anyway, today we're gonna talk about minimalist complexion coverage while still evening out the skin. This is going to be a little bit different because I think I have particularly tricky skin when it comes to this technique because, like I have mentioned before, I'm going to get a little closer so you can see what I'm talking about. My skin is translucent. You can see every little bit of everything. Like, this is the best my skin will probably ever look without foundation on. I have no primer, no nothing. My skin looks really even. I have a couple of old acne spots that are still healing. This one is like scarred and lightening up now. But my skin tone is even. I have a couple of things that are healing, but otherwise not too much discoloration. But you can see my veins. You can see all my pores. You see all my freckles. You can see the discoloration underneath my skin. You can see all this green and purple discoloration in here. So what we're going to do is spot conceal, do powder all over the face, a fairly light coverage powder, and then go on with our complexion products as we normally would if we had done a liquid foundation and set it with powder. This is a look that I have worn many, many times. This was my habit. I use different products that I'm using now, but this was my complexion look in college. Focus more on the skin, and I want to give some credit to Denise because she actually inspired this video. She left me a long comment on my last one talking about how she really just wanted her skin to shine through, but she needed some evening out. How do you kind of get a base going that's not so opaque so that the skin is really the star of the look, but you still wear makeup, you still wear all the complexion products? That more naturally flawless look. So I was inspired by that, Denise, so thank you for leaving your comment. For this method, I'm going to be showing you with my favorite formulation of concealer. You may not agree with this, and that's totally fine. But I'm going to be using the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the shade Creme Brulee. This is light 2.5. They call it cool undertone. I think it's neutral, so depending on what you think, this may or may not be your color. I'm gonna take that on this. This is actually a deluxe crease brush by Real Techniques. This came in a duo with kind of larger, fluffier brush. This guy, but I like to use this for concealer because it's just beautiful for that. So I actually just kind of dip this in this little pot and work that way. You really don't need much. A little goes a long way with this concealer. And I'm just gonna go in and correct any discoloration. The main focus obviously is going to be my under eyes, this darkness here, but anywhere that I just have a little bit of splotchiness, I just want to even that out. So like I will, ooh, I forgot a step. I'm going to blend these and then we're going to go back before it's too late. Okay, I forgot to prime. Rookie mistake. I've really been liking this Wet n Wild face primer, their photo focus range. And I feel like this is a great smoothing primer without having that silicone feel. It really does apply more like a lotion. I really like this. It's been very helpful. It's not incredibly drying. I am a pretty dry type in the winter months. I just did an updated skincare routine for you guys, so I will link that for you in case you have not seen that yet. I do get a little red when I apply products, so don't be alarmed. Anyway, now that we've done that, and I've totally messed up the concealer that we already put on, oh well, we'll just reapply it. It's not the end of the world. So I just like to spot conceal. I also have a pretty dark vein that runs on this side and on this temple, so I like to cover that up. I'm one of those people, you can see my veins all over my body. Like if I'm wearing a tank top, you could like map out my veins from the surface because they're just that visible. Cool, right? I'm cleaning up this line with this because I don't want this darkness to make my eyes look smaller or make my eyes look closer together, so I'm just kind of blending that back to a more proportionate shadow. There we go. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. The most darkness for me in my dark circles is right in this inner corner, so I have to really get in there to correct it. And if you're thinking that I'm crazy because I just told you that I'm pretty dry and I'm using this matte concealer all over my face, hold on, I promise I'm not crazy. We're gonna do some things to help this mesh a little better in a second, but don't you fret. I've got you. Got you covered. Oh, something you were asking, Denise, is about the terrible redness around the nose situation. You're not alone. That's everybody. It's a hormonal thing. There's nothing you can really do about it, unfortunately. We all need a little concealer around the nose. It truly is just a hormonal thing that causes that. It's more dominant in women, so we have that struggle more than the men do. I definitely struggle with that. My nose is always red. The key with this method is you want to use as little product as necessary to get the coverage that you need. So just work in really small amounts and build it up. Some of us also get a lot of redness around the mouth, so that can be important to distinguish. If that's you, I would focus a little bit more coverage there. Happy with this level of coverage. Just keep building until you're comfortable with what you see. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be mask-like. You're gonna have some variation in tone. That's normal. At least for me, that's normal. I'm gonna take this e.l.f. I believe this is the Flawless Blending Brush, but I could be misnaming this. This is the one that's kind of dense and rounded at the top. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this to apply powder. I am unfortunately between shades of powder right now, so I'm gonna be using two to kind of create my custom shade. This is the MAC Mineralize Skinfinish Natural Powder in the shade Light and Medium. I'm gonna be using mostly light and just a little bit of medium to create my custom shade today. So I'm just dabbing in that powder, and then I'm gonna be dabbing it on my face. This is going to provide more coverage while keeping that really natural look and feel to the skin. This is not the highest coverage powder foundation that they make, but it is my favorite. It just looks beautiful on the skin, whether you are dry, oily, whatever. You may have to touch up more if you're oily, but I think this powder is lovely regardless of your skin type. If you wanted less coverage, you would be swirling I will swirl eventually just for the finish that I want, but for right now I'm focusing on coverage, so I'm pressing into the skin. It also helps to stir up less redness if you're pressing rather than swirling. If you're someone who struggles with more redness in the skin or more discoloration, then it can really help to not swirl. That draws blood to the surface and makes you more red. So that's also why I prefer applying my liquid foundation with a sponge instead of a brush. All right, now I'm gonna swirl. Just to be sure, I'm gonna go in and additionally set my under eyes. I'm using the light MAC powder. You can use the e.l.f. under eye setting powder that I like for this as well. That's a more economical option than this one. Just since I have this in front of me, I'm just using this. Just because I don't have another brush that I prefer over this one for this process, I'm going to show you guys a Morphe brush. So I don't think that Morphe is like the worst brushes ever, so don't think that I'm just like anti-Morphe, but I was disappointed by spending my money on their brushes and not having them be as good as everyone promised they were. So I would not encourage you to purchase more Morphe brushes. I would encourage you to find someone who owns them and play with them, touch them, see what you actually think in person. I wish I had done that. That's just how I feel about it. But this is an M177 by Morphe. It's just a flat natural hair brush. I enjoy it for bronzing. I'm going into my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It's just depotted. It's nothing special. My packaging actually broke. So I'm just going to be bronzing lightly. And when I bronze, I'm kind of double purpose. I'm kind of contouring and bronzing at the same time by kind of sculpting the lower half of my cheekbone. That's just what I like to do. I like these flat ones because it has that sharp line to keep me from dragging my cheekbones down, getting anything lower than I intend to. And the important thing for this whole complexion technique is just light layers, because since you're not full coverage on the face, you can't go full coverage with any of your colors because it'll just look silly. It'll look like painted on stuff on natural skin. That's why we want to build slowly and evenly all over the face. I practiced by wearing this look yesterday to work, and I asked a couple of my coworkers, hey, does my makeup look any different today? And I had done my eyeshadow lighter than the day before, so that was all they noticed that was different. And I told them that I didn't have any liquid foundation on, and they were like, I thought that was pretty cute, that they had no idea that I can't believe my skin is doing this well. As someone who's had problem skin like all my life, I just never thought I would be this person who can be comfortable wearing no makeup or no foundation. Sufficiently bronzed. This e.l.f. Multitask brush, which I finally found in a set at a Big Lots in my area, because funny enough, this brush only comes in sets. I'm not sure why that is, but I love this brush. It's perfect size for blush application. I'm using this Milani powder blush in the shade Awakening Rose. This is really pretty. This is shade number 10. It does have a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's just the most natural, lightly flushed color. I love it. This is a much bolder eye look than I wore this with yesterday, but I think it can still be done. Let's highlight now. I'm gonna use Becca Champagne Pop. I've just kind of fallen back in love with this again lately. It's really, really pretty. It's beautiful on fair to medium skin tones. It's really pretty on more tan skin tones as well. I think deep ones, it tends to show up a little bit more ashy, but my exposure is limited. If you've not seen my highlighter application video, I will link that for you. That'll give you some more insight as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Now that I've applied all of these powder products and they've all been... Darcy? No barking. Lay down. Sorry. Trouble in puppy paradise, but... Anyway. Now that I've got all these powder products on my face, since I am a dry skin type, and because I think it looks better, multiple reasons, I'm going to set with a setting spray before I go in and do my mascara. I also have long lashes, so I tend to get dots if I'm looking around and haven't fully dried yet. I'm going to use my MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus spray to mist my face, and then I'm going to fan it off because I'm impatient. So this is our skin finish. So this is what our finished look looks like with mascara and setting spray all done and dried and everything, and I'm not wearing a lip color. What else is new? I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If this inspires you to wear less coverage, please let me know. I'd love to hear that. It's definitely got me thinking twice about whether or not I'm going to apply liquid foundation in the morning when I'm getting ready. So if you're right in that boat with me, let me know. And I would love to connect with you guys. So anything you guys leave in the comments. I love reading your comments and interacting with you guys and getting to know you a little bit. So don't be shy. If there's a video that you'd like to see me do for you here on this channel, please request it down below. If there's any reason why I can't do that for you, I will let you know. Until next time.